Hi, the Happy Printmaker here, but today I was going to show you how I get motivated and loosen up to get into my serious work. I regard jelly plate as a lovely form of play for me, and what I'm using today is my homemade permanent jelly plate. You can see that it's quite well loved and used. It's a recipe that I got off the internet. What I use for my to roll my paint up on is a sheet of craft foam. This craft foam, which is very, very handy. And I've made a whole load of stamps onto toilet roll inners to use on my jelly plate. Now I like to do this because if you use shop bought stencils, they can look a bit machine-like, and also everybody's work looks the same. Whereas you can do this inexpensively, and you'll have great results. So the other things you'll need is this is a foam roller from the paint store, and I've put a bit of cardboard and some masking tape around. And what happens is that tends to hold onto the roll better. The other things that I have are a brayer, and the reason that I use a craft foam sheet for this particular technique is that it seems to pick up the paint better onto the foam roller. The other thing that I use is Atelier Flow paint, acrylic paint, and a gloss glazing medium or a varnish. You can use cheap acrylic or craft paints as well, and I'll show you both of them. But I do prefer the Atelier. I just think it gives a more sensitive print, but that's a personal choice and you don't have to go with that. Alright, so what I might do is make a start. Alright, so first things first, I'll use Payne's Grey mainly. I just put some paint onto the plate and a little bit of glazing medium or a varnish, and just cover the plate. Now if you get holes appearing like this, it means that you've got a little bit too much glazing medium and not enough paint. So a little bit more paint. You might like to have those gaps as well, and sometimes I leave them. But for now I'll show you the whole plate covered. Okay. Right, so you'll see over here that I've rolled out a little bit of paint onto the craft foam mat. Now here's the roller, so I'm just going to, you can see how it picks up the paint. If it skids, it means you're pressing it too hard. Alright, so what you can do with that is you can put a piece of paper down, which I'll do onto here, and just roll your stamp over the paper, and you can get a pattern that way. And then on the back it's going to have a different pattern. That's from your plate. Now the next thing you can do, the same stamp, you can roll it over the plate, the jelly plate, and what's happening here is it's picking paint off the actual plate. So I'll just show you that again. You can see that that's taken paint off the plate. So always use everything. Don't waste paint, because these papers, look at that, can be used in collage and all sorts of things like that. Now what's going to happen is I'll put this print onto pardon me, Hosho paper Pochette paper is you buy it in a roll like this, and it's a sort of rice type paper. It's made for woodcuts really, but it is the most sensitive paper for using on jelly plates. Alright, so I'll take this print and show you that it will be quite dark because that's the first layer of paint. And jelly plate usually works nicest with the ghost print. So there's the first pull, and I'll show you the ghost print. Now this is coming off exactly the same area that I've just pulled the first print off. And you'll see a marked difference in that, how much lighter it is. If you see light bits around the edges, just go around with the finger and it'll pick up the extra. So for example here, if you wanted to get rid of that, just do that. Alright, so can you see the difference? One is very dark and the other very light. Now the nice stuff starts to happen. So we put the paint onto the mat rather than the plate. Roll it out with your brayer, and I'll use a different stamp so that you can see the difference. Right, what about this one? This has got some broader areas on it, so just roll it through the paint and then onto the plate. Right, now let's take that print. And what I might do is I've got some masks here, and I'll show you how this works as well. So we're not printing the whole image, we're going to print parts of it. Now the masks are just cut out of card stock, and gradually as they build up the paint on them, they become beautiful too, but they strengthen as well. So this can be a really beautiful way of printing. Okay, so you can see that that's quite gentle looking. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll keep working on this sheet as well. So then you take the mask off, and you can see it's well painted. And then let's put on a different colour onto the plate. Now this time I'm not going to roll it onto the foam plate, and I've got a bit of card here where I can clean my roller off. See that? That's just so that I can get a cleaner roller. So we'll use the orange. And what this does, it makes this gorgeous grey on that blue, or on that Payne's grey. Now as I said, you can smooth this right out, or you can decide that you want some of those textures in there. This is a basting brush, and it makes really quite nice lines. Now you can choose to use the mask again, or a different kind of one, and I have so many different varieties of these things. I'm always using them. So maybe this one. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to overprint part of the first image onto, so you'll see what the orange does over the top of the grey. It's really quite beautiful. Okay, So then, of course, we can do this, take that off, and can you see these here? Those marks that formed around the edges of the actual mask. So around here has formed an edge, a line, and of course, but me being me, I can't afford to just let that be, so I'll get a fresh piece of paper and we'll start again. So, fresh piece of paper. So this is an actual ghost print. Right, okay. Right, there we go. Oh, this one's beautiful. So look at that. Right, so what I would do then is I would get one of the stamps, something that you feel that sort of fits with that image, and you'll get used to, you know, what does fit and what doesn't fit. So a bit more of the charcoaly colour onto the foam plate. And charge up your roller. Now you could do this two ways. You can put, which I will do it both ways, right? I'll put some onto the plate. Do it that way. And then I'm going to roller it onto the paper as well. So just get that up there. And don't be too hard on yourself about this. Just enjoy the process. It's a very free-flowing method of working. So how beautiful is it? Right, and then the last thing I would do is I'd come along the bottom with the stamp and complete the piece. Okay. Right, so that's on Hosho paper. Now let's do something a little bit different and come back to this one that I had. Now see, there's still a little bit on here, so I'm thinking that I might like to put that down the centre here, just that bit. Just see if it works. You're never quite 100% sure. Yeah, it did. So can you see that there? That was the last little bit left on the plate. Okay, so I might use some of the computer paper and show you what happens with that. Right, so what if we use a different colour? Yeah, I'll use this orange again. Get on. Because remember I did do some prints onto the computer paper. Right, now let's get another stamp, different one this time. What have we got? Oh no, that's a bit regimented, I don't like that one so much. This one I might do. Right, so this is just circles. And you can always do more than one on a plate too. So this is just lines. So you could sort of go up the middle with just lines if you wanted to. Alright. So we're going to put this onto a piece of this paper that we already printed before. So you get a much more covered in layered look about it. And then let's put it onto a fresh piece of paper. And of course you can always put another sheet of paper over the back. And remember our roller. So getting the most out of our paints so that we don't waste any. Sometimes they can be a bit stubborn. Right, so roll that through again. And then you could do this, like, right, up and up. So it's gone onto the jelly plate again, but it's like a ghost print already. So you've got that. Then you've got this. Right, and then you could do this if you wanted to. How will I do this? Maybe I'll do it this way, on the side. Right, so very earthy colours, but at the same time. So let's go for something a little bit different. I've got this gold colour. A little bit of this. Just a little bit with these craft paints because they're quite, they're not very viscous to start with, so I don't want them too runny. Mix it in. Right. Right, so we'll do the roller. We'll put the dark over the yellow. Let's just see if we can get that working a bit better. So some more of that paint on there. Now what that's going to do is turn that green, which could be interesting. Because remember you've got blue and yellow basically, which will become green. Right, some of this over here. Yeah, that's quite nice. Right, and remember we want to use our the stamp as well. We don't want to waste any of it. So some of that, a second one, and right, so you've got another piece of paper to work on further if you want to. You could draw with this too. I mean, I see tree trunks in that, so you could do a drawing over it. And here's where too much paint has been put on. And these are the cheap craft paints tend to do this. But then again, it's still quite nice. Oh. Very abstracted. So the ghost print would be great. So I think I would use a some sort of a stencil or a mask of some sorts. Let's go with that. And hosho paper this time. So for the ghost print, hosho paper works best. The computer paper works alright too, so don't get too worried about it, but hosho paper is lovely paper. Right. So you can see that it picks up quite delicate lines. So what I would do on the bottom of here, I think I'd go ahead and take the ghost print with the, remember it's just got the lines on it rather than a whole lot of paint.